For someone watching, maybe a young person that's thinking, oh, maybe this year is for me, what's your advice to them, or how do you go about answering that call?
Yeah, ask God, does He want you to do a year of mission? It doesn't have to be net. Obviously, I'd love if it was net, but ask God if He wants you to do a year of mission because it will both challenge you and bless you for the rest of your life.
Hello and welcome to The Way. I'm Wendy Grace. Well, I have to say, something that I have heard so consistently over the years, doing so many interviews, especially with young people about their faith and how they live it out, is that it's so important for them to have peer to peer connection, communication. That's something that kind of keeps them on that faith journey. And there's one organization that's really focused on doing that. It's called Net Ministries. And I have here with me in studio the Irish Executive Director for Net Ministries to tell us all about it and how it works. Tony Foy joins me now. It's great to have you, Tony.
Wendy, thanks for having me on.
Sum it up.
Appreciate it.
What's Net all about?
Net is young people handing the faith in Jesus Christ onto other young people, and it's Catholic. It's beautiful, and it works.
And it's in countries all over the world. When did it start and how many places it
It
is?
started in 1981 in the United States, went from there to Canada and Australia around the same time, then on to Ireland and Uganda around the same time, and then now it's in Scotland, and it's in New Zealand as well.
And how does it work? It's a young person, it's kind of like a mission year that they take out, or
So,
how does it work?
yeah, young people volunteer to give a year of their lives to God. They come to us. We train them up as missionaries. We send them out in teams, and that's the interesting bit. In teams, into parishes, into dioceses, into schools, wherever they're asked to go, and they carry out their mission to young people during that time.
How do you get trained as a missionary? What does that involve?
And, as Pope Francis says, how much training do you need to hand on the faith? And he says himself very, very little, or said himself very, very little. And so it's we give them 6 weeks of intensive training, but the main thing is what actually happens inside. Do they know God? God clearly knows them, but do they know God? Do they know that He's a good God? And once you know that you've been saved, and that sounds like a very Protestant expression, but it's actually Catholic. Like, we've been saved by Jesus Christ. Once we know and appreciate, we might do here intellectually, but once we appreciate internally, deep down, what He has done for us, we can then hand that on to other young people.
And what have you seen the impacts of net teams going into a community once they've been trained up and spending the time there?
It's amazing the impact of net over the years. It's by its fruits you shall know it. Many, many young marriages, vocations to the priesthood and religious life in Ireland. And we've 7 kids ourselves, we've 3 grandkids. All our kids are in their faith because of net, simply because of net. If it wasn't for that,
What is it? What's the kind of secret
it,
ingredient there?
it's young people who are normal, who are into the GAA, who are into whatever it is. They live normal lives, but they also love Jesus.
Yeah.
And they're able to connect with young people in a normal way about normal things. And yeah, it's beautiful.
Is it kind of that idea of, if you were looking or in a room with some of these young people, let's say, and just having a normal chat or interaction, that for them to then turn around and say, hey, I'm a practicing Catholic, people would be, sadly, because there's still a lot of, I think, misunderstandings about what that means to have that like label attached to yourself. Just
Yeah, absolutely. And that's probably the last thing that we would actually say. At the end of the day, we're there to build a relationship with young people. We're there to be normal. We're there to love on a young person. So it's not in a sense that we're going to get something from them, but in a sense that we have everything to give, and this is win-win. But people have to trust us before they're going to receive the gospel, and that takes time to build that trust. And you build trust on what are you into? Are you into cars? Let's talk about cars. Are you into the GAA? Let's talk about the GAA. What are you into? And it's having a relationship on so many different levels, and then we'll let different things go that we're actually into faith. We're into our Catholic faith in particular.
yeah, so it's as you say, the relationship building kind of comes first.
Totally.
Then, do you think there's an openness in this kind of Gen Z younger generation?
Absolutely, there is. We in my generation particularly, there's a jaundiceness against or a perceived jaundiceness against the faith. I actually don't think that there is that much jaundiceness, but because of the media and so much and so on and so forth, it's almost like we have to look over our shoulder before we tell somebody actually we believe in God or that we're Catholic and
You have a
whatever.
lot of people whispering to you,
Yeah, yeah.
"I go
I
to mass
actually,
too."
yeah, I go to mass too, and there's lots of people who actually do, and the faith in people is actually real, and it's genuine. And even the people who don't go to mass, I think there's an inherent sense in us that we actually believe in God. Now, the version of God that people believe in might be different, but there's a sense that people have in the divine.
So what's happening in Ireland at the moment? You have a number of teams
We,
across the country. How does it all work?
yeah, so we started this year with 6 teams. We had a short team in a place called Delvin for 3 months, a 3 month mission team there, and that's students from a university in California come over, and we've been working in with Father Seamus Heaney in Delvin for 13 years consecutively. And then we have a team in Cabra in Dublin. We have a team in Belfast. We have a team in Dundalk, and then we have a road team as well that travels around the country as well. And we actually had a team with the Pro Life campaign this year as well.
So they're going. It's quite a challenge because they're visiting different parishes.
Totally.
They're on the road, and I imagine encountering people from all walks of life. And they're usually what, between kind of 19, 20, that kind of age.
18 to 30.
Okay,
Yeah,
18 to
yeah.
30.
So
I like that young person category is
yeah, yeah, you're
still.
not that far away, Wendy. I'm a bit past it, but it's a beautiful age where people are forming themselves as adults, and it's like you give a year to God, and God will bless you in so many ways. A year of intensive mission like that will add to a person's faith for life.
You must find that those young people come away obviously formed but changed as well.
It's really interesting that you say that because I tell the missionaries at the start of the year, you are going to come back and you're going to be a lot better looking than you than you are now, and that's because God changes us. Actually witnessing to Him actually changes our face. All the different hurts that we have. He helps us let go of those, and it actually changes our face. It actually changes the way we look, and they come back noticeably better looking at the end of the year. Now, obviously, that's subjective, it's anecdotal, but in my head, it happens every year, and it is beautiful.
The Net Ministries glow. You can
And
add that
exactly,
to the
yeah.
positives from giving a year of life to.
Want to be good looking? Do
Yeah.
that.
But one of the things I remember having an experience recently where a Net team was doing a Sunday school at a mass, and I was watching with great interest. Was the parents were kind of paying attention as much as the children were, but the way that this was delivered, this teaching with such passion, energy, but it was also extremely genuine.
Hmm.
And I could tell afterwards, especially the parents of small children, they were just so thankful. Do you think that it's filling part of that gap where actually you have a whole, cohort, say parents with small children or young teenagers that they want to know more, but we haven't been able to quite fill that gap because we haven't been able to communicate it very well?
Absolutely. The only formation that a person your age gets or has gotten in their lifetime since their catechism in national school has been 5 minutes at best, that Father gives in a homily on Sunday. And that's pretty much it for 99% of the Catholic population in Ireland. So when they're told that actually being Catholic, believing in God, God is actually positive in himself, that he's not a tyrant. That's news to a lot of people as well. Even though they believe, they suspect that he's not good. And to hear that he's actually good is in itself a revelation.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. And about so many aspects. Like we have the message of eternal life. To whom else shall we go? It's just beautiful.
Yeah, and it's really just trying to highlight that. Just finally to ask you, Tony, for someone watching, maybe a young person that's thinking, "Oh, maybe this year is for me." What's your advice to them, or how do you go about answering that call?
Yeah, ask God, does he want you to do a year of mission? It doesn't have to be net. Obviously, I'd love if it was net, but ask God if he wants you to do a year of mission because it will both challenge you and bless you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's life changing, I'd say.
Yeah.
For
And you can apply online, netministries.ie. It's very simple. You will be really challenged, but you will be really blessed. And all my kids did net, apart from the youngest who's not of age yet, and they've all said it has challenged them and it has blessed them.
Well, Tony, it's just such a fantastic organisation. We're so blessed to have it here in Ireland and
Thank
around the
you,
world.
Wendy.
It's been great to have
So
you with
much
us today
appreciated.
on the way. And that's Tony Foy there of Net Ministries. And as Tony mentioned, the website there, that's where you can find out all about the mission year, but also if you're trying to get a net team to your parish and to your area, how that all works as well. So thanks for being with us today.